You have this person smiling to themselves and going, "That's my baby. That's my girl." So, somebody really likes the way that you move when you are just being your authentic self. If you have something going on with like work or a passion project right now and you've shared that with them, like progress that you've made or any kind of like plans that you have for the future, there's a sense that this person really likes how you light up when you are describing this thing, or you kind of like get lost in the midst and in the moment of self expression. There's like an exuberance, a light, a joy that comes out from inside of you that is very contagious for this person. This is somebody who wants to create with you. They want to create more experiences in terms of love and romance. This is somebody that may want to start a family with you, settle, you make this person like want to settle down and get married if they've just been, kind of single for a while or keeping their options open. There's a sense of like, I love the way that you can kind of, turn nothing into something, or your visions for the future, or the ways in which you are kind of using every moment to the fullest, whether that is being at rest or being very productive, where there's these qualities about you as a person and how you are savoring life at this particular point in time that have this person sold on the idea of like, yeah, you're somebody that I want to partner with. This is also something where they may have had kind of these dreams of sort of, maybe starting a family business. This may be somebody that is going to be taking over a family business. They work for a family business and there's like, yeah, I want you to come work with this business. I want to bring you on board, or I want us to start something together, that we can like pass on to our kids, or it can be something like very inclusive. So this person is definitely thinking way beyond this current moment, and just like loving the vibe that you're putting out there, loving the way that you are kind of, again, like making the most of every moment, or really just sort of like reaching for those bigger dreams, reaching for the stars at this time. So we have the adventurer. This is definitely somebody that feels you keep them on their toes. There are so many aspects to you, so many facets to you. They have seen you metamorphosize amongst many different versions of yourself. And all of those are accurate representations of who you are. This is somebody that finds it to be very fascinating and refreshing that you have all these different aspects to you that are all very authentic. It's like you're the type of person you can only really know you or understand you by taking in the big picture. And this is somebody then the time they've gotten to know you, or you've been dating, you've been seeing each other, spending time with one another, they've witnessed kind of the unfolding of these other layers of you, these different versions of you, and it all adds up to something very beautiful, a beautiful mosaic of a person. And so they're very enthusiastic, like, yeah, I can't wait to see what the road ahead has in store for us, because with you it's like even mundane moments feel like an adventure. And we also have the healer. So it feels like you're healing this person's maybe like fear of commitment. They're inching closer towards you. They're kind of like leaning in. You may notice that if you're having like a conversation with them, they lean forward when you're talking. They're very drawn towards you. They're very fascinated by you. They're very magnetized to you. This is somebody that like respects what you have to say. They respect your opinion. They respect your wisdom. They respect your insight and your perspective, and like the things that are important to you and that matter to you. And this is something where if they had been kind of like not trying to rush into a connection, and had just been sort of like, let's take things slow, let's keep it casual, they are like transcending that sort of boundary that they had put in place. And there's like, yeah, I want to make something more with you. I want to have something more with you. I want to take advantage of this moment and really make it count between the two of us, which is helping them to leave behind, fears of maybe ending up in like another disappointing relationship, another toxic relationship, something that seemed really good from the outset, but then when they got together with like an ex-partner, it fell apart, or, it turned out that they weren't as compatible as they were when it was just casual. Like these are all kind of hesitations it feels like this person has had in the form of baggage that they have brought to the table in this situation with you. But but you are quickly kind of, again, with that multifaceted energy, you are providing reassurances in ways that you don't even know to this person of like, you are an adaptable individual, or there are so many different layers to you, that you're able to kind of go with the flow in terms of times where they are very willing to move forward in this, and times where they've needed to kind of be at a standstill, be at rest, take a step back. It's like you've gone with the flow with that. You've remained very self-focused, very self-directed. You make time in your life for this connection, for spending time with this person, but it's not like they have become your whole world, and vice versa. There's no pressure or expectation that you become this person's whole world either, which is really incentivizing them to like, okay, we can keep our autonomy and individuality, and that makes the idea of co-creating something all the more appealing, all the more kind of like giving them the signals that like, yeah, this has the chance to be something healthy, to be something good, to be something that is very uplifting or fulfilling for the two of us. So you're healing a lot of those wounds that might have made them skittish, to get into a relationship or to open up very quickly. So you may start to notice that this person starts to also talk about different kind of plans that they have for the future. They're going to like match your energy in terms of the enthusiasm with which you've been like, yeah, these are my goals, these are my dreams, these are the things I like, these are the things that, aside from kind of like whatever I have to do to make ends meet, this is how I sort of fill that extra time. These are things that I'd like to become, I'd like to evolve into, I'd like to create, I'd like to be able to do in my life. It feels like they're really going to start to match that, kind of bring in some new things that they hadn't told you about, or even things where they may start talking about, sort of factoring one another into each other's plans. That can give you that kind of indicator of like, yeah, this person is seeing more inclusivity between the two of us moving forward. We also have the sanctuary. So it feels like they feel that you're a very trustworthy person. You're a very non-judgmental person. They feel very safe kind of opening up, not just in terms of like their hopes for the future, but also their like fears and hesitations. So this may be something as well where they're going to start to open up about like, yeah, I had these dreams, but then, I couldn't really see that through to a place of completion because, there were these other factors, and it was a fear that I couldn't overcome. It was obstacles I couldn't overcome. And this isn't just kind of like confession time, it's almost a sense of this person really feeling that the two of you kind of like, you balance out one another's strengths and weaknesses. And so it feels like a way for this person to start to open up is to express some of those vulnerabilities to you in the hopes that it's kind of like, okay, we're vibing with one another. And maybe if I get more specific about, the things that I would like to do, but the hurdles that stand in the way, or, things I had reached for at one point in time, but then obstacles which arose internally or externally, which sort of put those things on hold or made those things not possible. Maybe there's something within you, some facet of you that I haven't discovered yet, or, something that they are aware of about you that might fit in very nicely with that. So this person may be looking for like a boost of confidence. They may really admire your confidence, your ingenuity, or your ability to kind of, make things happen for yourself, or at least, talk yourself into that place of like the positive mindset where you're like, I'm going to find a way, I'm going to make a way forward if I need to. And so this is something where they're wanting to kind of get on board with that in their own way and for their own situation. But then there's also a sense of kind of like, we're stronger together than apart. And so maybe opening up about some of those vulnerabilities will be kind of a subtle way to let you know, like, hey, these are the aspects that are not necessarily, my strong suits, but I think there are things about you that could kind of balance that out so that these are not, shadows that are necessarily kind of like locked in my closet, but that these are things that, you're seeing kind of the version of me that's out in the light of day, and also the version of me that, speaks to kind of like insecurities or fears or hesitations, so that you get more of a well-rounded picture of like who they are as well. And we also have the Sunstormer. So this person sees you as like a force to be reckoned with. You are somebody that when you're determined, when you set your mind to something, you accomplish those goals. You stop at nothing. You're a very determined person. That you got a lot of drive, a lot of ambition. And that matches up really beautifully with like what they have been looking for, wanting and needing in a partnership. And it feels like something where they don't want to speak too soon on that. There's almost a sense of like, okay, let's just kind of go in that direction. Let me just sort of pick up the pace and keep up with you in that sense. It may be that there's like busy times, busy things coming up, and there's, not so much time to spend with one another. And so this is somebody that wants to make the most of the time you do have together. those quality time experiences with one another, this is something like, yeah, let's really be in the moment. They want to make sure that they, cut out distractions, that they try to kind of minimize their stress in other ways. Or this could even be planning like special experiences, so that it's like, even if you're both busy, you got a lot of things going on, in your professional lives, or, again, something as far as like, that you're like doing on the side, like a passion project, side hustle you're trying to get going, something that kind of involves your like after hours time. There's a sense of almost like when we have these little pockets of time, these little windows of time with one another, I want to make sure that, we're making the most of that, that we're like kind of like soaking up that energy exchange for one another in the best possible way, so that even though I'll miss you in the times that we're apart or I'm busy doing other things, that it's kind of like we're very enriched by the experience with one another. That feels to be something that will be a demonstration of like effort on their part, that speaks to, wanting that more long-term partnership. Kind of like, even if, we can't be together like all the time or as frequently as we were, let's make those moments count. And we also have the key holder. So this can speak to this person like getting ready to give you the key to their heart. Or for some people, it's like they're getting ready to give you like a key to their apartment, key to their house, take things to the next level, that kind of like invites you in closer to that idea of like coupling up, partnership, bonding with one another, a demonstration of trust, or kind of like, yeah, you're my sanctuary, I'd like to come home to you at the end of the day. I'd like you to come home, to the ambiance that I'm able to create. Maybe this person wants to like, cook you dinner, or, have just some kind of like special experience with you, kind of like after a busy day. And so this can be something that, a step forward that is taken to kind of like create that sort of ease of access between the two of you, so that you understand, like, even if things were casual or if it's still kind of early in your connection, they are looking at this very seriously. They're looking at this in a long-term capacity. And like, I want us to become closer. I don't want to lock one another out of our lives. I want to, us to both like gain more access to the experience with one another and of one another. We also have the listener. So this person has definitely been actively listening to you. They have been taking note of the things that are important, the things that matter, the things that you are passionate about. And so it feels like they're getting ready to kind of like make some sort of gesture, like a gift giving, plan an occasion, something that represents things that are meaningful for you, something that represents like, I see you as a person, not just you're like, oh, this is my favorite thing, or I've got this on my wish list. Although definitely, this could indicate sort of like you got a wish list somewhere. They're gonna, get you those little treats as kind of like, yeah, here's my declaration of love. Let me just take care of that, because you've taken care of so much emotionally, or I know that you've made efforts to me. Let me kind of do this to let you know that I celebrate you. But it feels like something that's going to kind of change or shift in terms of, again, like, you may be very busy, they may be very busy right now, and so those times that you're spending with one another, it's almost a sense of like, let's make this more personal, in a way that's kind of like you're going to walk away from that experience and feeling like, yeah, this wasn't just, okay, we had a couple hours in the day, or, a couple hours in the evening that we could spend with one another, and it was nice. We were in one another's presence. We kind of just Netflixed and chilled. We ordered takeout, whatever that looks like. This is a sense of kind of like something that's above and beyond, that is like, okay, this really, sort of hit home in terms of, the things that are important to me, the things that matter, the things that make me smile. Something that lets you know, like, this person sees you beyond the surface. They see who you are as a person. And there's a sense of like, I want to make you very, very happy. I want to make you feel seen and celebrated, not just for what you bring into my life in an external sense, but really for how I feel that I'm aligning with you internally. And we also have the shadow. So this is a very protective energy. This person definitely wants to step up in terms of, making those declarations where they can kind of claim you. They want to be very protective over this. They want to, establish like a connection where you're a couple, you're an item. There are titles associated with this, because there's a sense of they don't want to kind of risk that the two of you will drift in opposite directions, or to make you think that they're kind of like, they just want something something temporary, or they're not in this for the long haul. This is a sense of like, I want to pull you in closer. I want to make you mine. I want to claim you. I want you to know that, you know, I cover you with this love, and I feel covered by your love as well, to where there's this urge to like hold you close, to be very affectionate with you. And we also have the fire bearer. Yeah, so you've ignited something within this person. They're ready to, you know, take things to the next level, to work with the conditions between the two of you at this point in time, so that you understand that even if your paths are kind of lighting the way for you to sort of move in opposite directions, not take time apart, but just like other things that need your attention, that it's kind of like, you're the light that I come home to, and I want to be that light for you as well. I want to make sure that you see me as starlight, even if you are on a distant horizon. And I want that same experience with you. This person really feels like it is almost like destiny that you've aligned with one another at this time in both of your lives. They feel that you are a very important person. You add a lot of vitality to their existence, a lot of excitement to their existence. And there's a sense of like this passion between the two of you, this spark, this flame between the two of you. They want to kindle that more. They want to protect that. They want to do what they can in order to, you know, enhance the experience between the two of you, and to let you know that you warm them up from the inside. You're helping to kind of melt this person's hesitations. You're healing those kind of like, you know, commitment issues or intimacy issues. There's a sense of like, I just want to merge with you. I want to meld with you. I want to have this experience where we both lift one another up. We step into that power couple energy. We are stronger together than apart. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.